guys and girls?
Hey everybody, it's Anakin and Viridia Guru live with Down the Scope, episode 43. I am so glad that we have already 17 people here tonight joining us for this special edition of Down the Scope. Viridia, you here with me?
I am here with you, and it is a very special episode, Anakin, because we've been wanting to do this live for quite a while, and we think it will add something to it if you guys are able to kind of see the whole thing in the process. You're able to chat in the sidebar, and everything's, here's the thing. I am still trying to get this completely 100% going myself because, this is the first time we've ever done something like this. We did it on YouTube, I think back at episode like 20-something. It was like our halfway point to a year.
Yeah.
We decided to do that, and we did it on YouTube, and YouTube is a horrible streaming site.
Did not go very well.
Yeah, so we decided next time we are going to do it on Twitch. We're going to do it live on Twitch instead. One thing I have to say before we get started, if you're watching this on YouTube, welcome. The stream, we are now streaming the episodes live if you missed our videos at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time on Twitch TV. Our Twitch names, our Twitch links will be in the description, as well as the MP3 and our email. Also, if you are on Twitch TV right now and you haven't made an account to chat with us, please do so. Make an account so we can see what's going on, what you guys are thinking, your questions, so that we can answer them later in the episode. The format's pretty much going to be the same. It's just we're gonna cover some topics, cover what games we've been playing, but we're also going to be answering questions along the way from you guys. So, Anakin, what's been going on?
Man, it's insanity. First of all, before we get started, I want to do a huge shout out to the bananas.
Yeah! You guys are
Banana phone.
You guys in the chat are absolutely crazy. If you came out, especially our European viewers, who most of them are up at 3 or 4 in the morning right now.
Indeed.
It's like one of the guys, I think he's at 7 o'clock in the morning. He's at work watching us. Thank you so much. It's just so cool to hear that you guys are actually doing that.
Hardcore. That is the people we love. You
Exactly.
guys joining us every week. It's unbelievable.
Also,
go ahead.
Real quick, I wanted to, before we get too heavy into our game talk, a friend of ours actually has a special event coming up, and he asked me.
Yes.
He asked me to kind of give a shout out to him, a little plug. And he's a dear friend of mine. He really supports my live streaming over here, and he actually is going to be streaming for 24 hours a game that Anakin loves. So I knew he would have no problem with this.
He's a dear friend of mine as well, although he doesn't know it.
Yeah, exactly. He has no idea.
Only because of what he's streaming.
That's what I told him. I said, do you know Anakin? He's like, I know who he is. I don't know him very well. And I was like, well, he's your buddy now because this is like his favorite game. But in any case, Hypermole is actually having a 24-hour live donation stream, and he's doing it completely for charity. The charity at this point is unknown. It's one of the, I believe you go to this website, you can pick a charity that you want to raise money for, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to pick the charity, and he's going to raise money for it. The link to his channel will be in the description. I will type it in the chat as well so that you guys can see it. I highly recommend you go follow him. It's going to be on March 17th, I believe, and I will check that really quick and double check what I just told you. I wrote it down. I made sure. I said, Hyper, listen to me. I'm going to stop you right where you're at, and I'm going to write this down so that I do not forget. And I did. I wrote it. Actually, I sent it to you in Skype so I didn't forget, is what I did. So yeah, we definitely want to be supportive of the people who helped us get here. It is on March 17th, and I hope you guys show up. I know I'll be there. Anakin will stop in for a bit.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, definitely check it out. In any case, Anakin, what have you been playing this week?
Oh, well, a bunch of people are going to have to put on their surprised face because I was playing Modern Warfare this week. What do you know?
Who would have thunk it?
I know, it's craziness. But as I've mentioned before in the other podcast, I'm a sucker. I'm part of the ridiculous elite. And so, all the new content that's been coming out, of course, I've been able to get that early and checking it out. I played the new map this week. Black Box is one of the new multiplayer maps.
How is it?
It's not bad. It's actually one of the better ones that I think has come out, but it's not great. It's somewhat of a sniper fest, but it's a heck of a lot better than that City Park map that they put out in the last little group here. But it's not bad. I enjoyed it. There's some decent texturing going on. The map has a fairly decent flow to it, and so I've been pretty happy with that. I played it quite a bit this week. And, of course, I can't get enough of Infected and some of the Juggernaut side games as well.
Oh, I hear you there.
those are still fun no matter what. So it's been a blast. But, I've played a couple other things. I started, this is a sad situation, but believe it or not, I threw in Duke Nukem Forever just because I wanted to, I didn't play it when it came out, and I knew going in it was going to be absolutely awful. Okay, it was just, everybody talked about it. You talked about it, and this thing just got no love. Not even for the sake of nostalgia. This thing, it just did not get any love. But I went ahead and threw it in, and I got through, I don't know, an hour and a half.
Yep.
And I was like, man,
was
pretty bad.
Was your head not splitting? My head started hurting so bad, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get through this. I don't care. I get halfway through the game, and I'm like, fuck it. It's only
it was I do plan on trying to get through the rest of it, but God, it's so slow. It's like you're just walking around, and you get some action about every 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, and it's like boom 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 boom, hide behind something, boom 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 boom, hide behind something, and then you move on, and you walk around again for a little bit, and I made it through the casino in the little RC car, and I jumped around and, got myself bigger or whatever the heck, and
I know.
And that was really, I think I exited the casino, got outside, did a few things outside, and that was really about where I bailed. I think it was late at night, and I kind of threw up, but I was like, man, this is as bad as everyone had said. But
I know. Well, I do want to, it was bad. The Human Shield actually made a comment. He says the humor is funny. I didn't find it funny at all. I didn't laugh one time throughout the game. I hated every aspect of it. And I was so mad that I paid $5 for it, and I deleted it off my hard drive. Like, it's gone.
Well, that's funny because Sassinar here in the stream, he says he got it for $2.40 on, but yet he has still not downloaded it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Nobody wants to taint their hard drive with that.
He's like, you know what? I think I watched Down the Scope, and Veridia said it sucks, and I'm not downloading that. Nope. It's like it's worth saying I have it, but it's not worth playing. It's like it's pretty bad. I really hate that game, but yeah. So unfortunately, you wasted some of your life on it.
Yes, I did.
We've all had to. And Banana Dog, and then have you ever seen that episode of Aqua Teen, Hand Banana?
Yeah, oh my God, it's the best thing ever.
I think Hand Banana should be our new mascot.
You.
He's like, I only know 3 words. I know good and ball and rape.
That's right. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Hand Banana, man. Good Lord.
God. So yeah, I think Hand Banana from now on is gonna be our mascot.
He's gonna be our mascot. That's right.
But anyway, in any case, I want to tell you about something. We have a disagreement on something now.
Lay it on me.
A pretty big one. And let's just say Anakin over the past, I think it's been, like 6 or maybe 4 or 5 months, he's been recommending a game to me. He's been saying this game is awesome. This game is great. Well, the other day I purchased this game, and I was like, well, Anakin says it's good. The reviewers say it's not really good. It's maybe okay. And I popped it in. And
Great.
I am very upset at this game.
You know what? Honestly, for the life of me, I don't even know what game. I can't even remember what I recommended so bad.
And this was actually, I'm going to give it away right here for you. This was actually one of your picks for a quarterly best game.
Really?
This game
Warhammer, right?
is Warhammer 40K Space Marine.
This is good. This is a great game.
Now, let me hold on a minute. Now, I literally sat here and pondered the other night. I thought about this. I said, now why the shit would Anakin like Warhammer but hate the game that it is blatantly ripping off to no end, Gears of War?
Oh, no.
And I said, wait a minute. I figured it out very quickly. Because Warhammer replaces the knee-high cover that you hate so bad with blade slashing.
That's right.
That's why you liked it so much.
That is exactly right.
This game is 100% blatant ripoff, other than the cover system, which is really needed in the game that's a shooter. They replaced the cover with the ability to hack and slash your enemy, but I will give it to it, the hack and slashing is really fun. But that's all they replaced.
There's no chest-high walls.
That's it.
Just
that's the only
just
difference.
like Mop Stewart. Mop Stewart here in the he knows me. He knows what I'm talking about. He said no chest-high walls, and it's exactly right. There are no chest-high walls.
Yeah, but that's the point. The point is that that's the only thing different from that game in Gears of War. Now, back in the day...
But that's all the difference in the world. That's huge.
No,
I don't
it's
sit
not.
there and like hide. I'm slashing through crap like crazy when I run out of ammo, and it's a blast.
But here's the thing. We got into this discussion a while ago about ripping off a game, okay? We got into this discussion. And we talked about the game, what was it, Dante's Inferno, that just blatantly rips off God of War. You know,
Yes.
we talked about games like Homefront and games like this are blatantly ripping off Call of Duty. This game is everything that Gears of War is, except it doesn't have the chest high walls and cover. They added, and I'm not listen here, I'm not saying that the game is horrible. I'm not saying that I'm not going to enjoy it. But that is one of my pet peeves. I get bugged by it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sitting here, okay, the first thing, and you know what, I almost last night...
And you're thinking you've played it before, but better. That's what you've got in your mind, right?
Yeah. It's like, it's basically, so I start off, and I'm like, okay, the PC controls are not working at all. I'm like, I downloaded to play the PC, they're not working, period. So I bust out the Xbox controller. That's the first negative. Because I wanted to play with PC controls, but the thing is with the PC controls, they've mapped the attack to the right button, the right click.
Yeah.
So instead of aiming your gun, you actually slash with that button. However, aiming in the game is actually necessary. Okay? So they map the aim to the control button, which makes moving very difficult. And I'm like, okay. And then pretty much everything else is the same. And I'm like, all right, so I pick up the controller, and as soon as I picked it up, I started destroying, and I was like, what the hell? I was like, okay, so X is slash, right bumper is the reload. Wow, I was like, that's why it's so familiar to me. The only other game that's ever done that is Gears of War. It's crazy. I was like, so now we've got massive super brutes, just like Gears of War. We've got the over-the-shoulder exact third-person setting here, Gears of War. We've got the gritty, environment that just breathes Gears of War. We've got pretty much the exact same enemies. We've got the small little what do you call them, like trolls, and then we've got the big orcs, and I mean, these are like reminiscent. They're carrying around, the blade that you use is a chainsaw sword. The main gun in Gears of War is a chainsaw gun. And then you get on the thing, the turret. It's a troika. It's exactly the same. It fires the exact same as a troika. It literally has the exact same overheat time as a troika. You can pick it up and dismount it just like a troika. I was like,
But there's no chest-high walls. There's no walls. That's like it's so much better.
I
There's
should
no
have never.
walls.
I should have never said anything, and then you'd have just been like defenseless. I gave you your only ammo for this argument, you ass.
No, here's the thing. Seriously. Here's the deal, okay? The great thing about this game, and let me tell you, Gears of War does not deliver on this, okay? Even in their horde mode,
Let's hear
okay?
this shit.
Here's the deal. When you really get in the thick of it, and you're shooting guys and everything, Gears of War, it always ends up where they kind of hold off because they've got guns too, and they're shooting you. But for the most part in this, it's a lot of melee going on. These guys are running at you. You got guys all kinds of different kinds. And I know Gears of War has that to some degree, but when you get in the middle of this, you can have 40 or 50 guys coming at you, and when you start doing the combos, when you start doing the left, right click combo, all of a sudden your character goes into these crazy, moves where he takes a hammer and slams it down on the ground and it stuns all the characters, and then you can do the stun crazy, death move, and then you can do all of these, crazy moves, and there's a bunch of different interesting weapons. The thing is, here's the deal. A friend of mine recommended it to me because at first I didn't really think that the game was all that. And he kept harping on it to me, and I was like, man, I don't know. And I played the demo, and I was like, I don't know. But let me tell you, have you even played it long enough to have gotten the jetpack yet?
That is the only positive I have so far, is that I had so much damn fun with that thing.
Man, when you right-click and come down from the air in that jetpack and you slam into a bunch of guys, do you not feel like a total badass?
I literally, that was my next point. I was going to say, there is one point in the game where I got the achievement. In the first area, I got the jetpack. I killed all the enemies. Like, I wouldn't even let my own men touch them. I was like, don't you dare! And then I would just come down and boom, like crash into them. That is epic. And you know what? That was my next point. Why did I not have that damn jetpack the whole game? Why didn't they base that around the jetpack?
Let me tell you, everybody that I've talked to that's played the game said exactly the same thing. It's like they give you the jetpack like 3 times in the entire game. And every time, it's like, no, don't take it, don't. And you cross the invisible wall threshold where the jetpack just falls off, and you're like, God damn it, give me the jetpack back, and it's such a blast during those moments. But, oh, man, it's just so, like, damn it. I wish they would put out, like, just a sequel to that where you have the jetpack all the time, and maybe there's a timer or something, or whatever, that you can't just, constantly use it all the time. But, it's great. And then let me tell you, the interesting thing about the story, believe it or not, the story actually pulled me in. And if you play it long enough, the story, I think, is pretty well done, especially if you have any knowledge whatsoever of the Warhammer universe. So,
yeah. Well, here's the thing. I haven't played it, but for maybe 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours, and
it's probably a 10-hour game, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that I've found so many instances where, I mean, literally, I'm running down a corridor with absolutely no fights. Like, there's just nothing there.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
and like, there's none of that in Gears. And not only that, if you never backtrack, and like in this game, you got to go around here, and there's nobody there, but there's tons of barrels everywhere. And I'm like, well, why didn't I get to fight on the way there and then on the way back? Why do I have to get there and then come back and then fight? It's like there's so many instances where I'm just walking around. And the thing is that I was getting so annoyed at some of this that I was about to start recording so that I could show the stream that it's just like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, there was so many times where it's like I would just take off. The biggest problem I had, honestly, was there was hardly any enemies. And then at one point, when you've placed this bomb on this humongous bullet, one of your guys is trying to push it back into the clip because they've taken it out. And the whole time he's pushing it, they swarm you. And the thing is, you're not ready for it because you don't have, like, unlimited ammo here.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, crap. And then, like, 2 of those humongous ogres come out, and I'm trying to take them on while I got trolls on me. Another thing that really upset me was the only way to gain health is to stun an enemy, and then if you hit the B button, you do like a super special badass kill. But they don't make you invincible during this sequence, which takes a while because it goes into slow motion.
That's right.
So
That's
the whole time you're killing this guy to get health, you're losing just as much health doing it because all the other enemies are killing you, so it basically cancels itself out.
Well, but that's just it. That's why you have to be able to do the execution moves that replenish your health. You have to be, you have to do them at the right time, because if you do them right in the middle of this insane like mob, it's obvious. Like you said, it's a wash.
Right. So you mean,
in fact, you'll barely make it out alive in the first place.
Right, but that's when I needed the health. Was when I was in the middle, not when I was done. I'm just kidding. But in any case, I am going to play through the rest of it. I will, definitely give my last impressions of the game. But when
Let me tell you, it's got some style. It really does. It's got some style, and and it's, for what it is, it's pretty darn polished. And that's not to say that Gears of War isn't or anything, because obviously that's an extremely polished game as well. But I have a soft spot for Relic. Relic is the company that made this, and they made the Homeworld franchise. They also did Company of Heroes, and really, if you look at the track record for Relic, regardless of whether every game they create is like right up your alley or not, the great thing about that studio is every game they make is a solid game, polished. It feels fun, and even if the mechanics or the gameplay aren't exactly original, they still have some amount of style that makes me appreciate that studio, and I want to support them regardless, because I want, they're kind of, for me, they're kind of the Naughty Dog of PCs.
Right.
They create solid, good, very fun and playable games, and I just feel like I'm fairly loyal to Relic overall, and when I saw that they were the ones that made this, I said, okay, you know what? Even as that studio has changed and matured over time, and I'm sure that they've had turnover and people have come and gone, I still have faith that whatever game they put out is a solid game. And you know what? I felt like Warhammer was still, even if it is obviously a little more than reminiscent of the Gears of War franchise, it is still extremely solid. It has a lot of good style. The graphics were pretty good. The audio was pretty good. The fun factor for me in that game, especially the more you play it, it becomes a little almost like a little addictive. Like every time I would stop playing it, I would I'd just start thinking about, man, okay, and I'd want to just jump in there and just start beating orcs' ass every time I see it, So I just felt like there's a major fun factor there that is, it's kind of old school in some ways, because when you shoot, it doesn't, the game doesn't calculate the parabolic arc of your projectile, and then you don't have to worry about it, none of that crap. You shoot, and wherever you point, it hits. And that's the old school way, instead of all the games these days that, have all these, ridiculous, crazy physics where you have to account for all this crap. This is a game that's way more old school. You shoot wherever your target is. When you press the button, that you're going to hit that, and that to me is something I miss in some of the modern games. The old Quake 3 days and all that. I do miss that. And that game, this game kind of brought it back for me. So yeah, I really did enjoy that one. And let me tell you seriously, if you've only played it 3 or 4 hours, you've probably got a pretty good feel for it. But let me tell you, if you start doing those combo moves and the execution moves, and you really start getting into it a little bit more, I'm telling you, you're probably going to end up liking that game.
Yeah, I do enjoy it. It's not a bad game at all. But I just got that pet peeve, man. Like, it's just like when a game blatantly rips off, it's like I start getting pissed. Like, I'm just like, man, you're not even we talked about it. If a game can take elements of a game and make them better or make them good, and it's like, but when it's like blatant, man, it's like,
oh, I know what you're saying. I know
it might be a good game, but like they, the amount of work they put into it was already done. I
honestly, I know where you're coming from on it, but honestly, believe it or not, I really didn't think it was that derivative. I really didn't. I mean, obviously they share a bunch of similarities, okay, but I never felt like when I was in Gears of War, I never felt mobile. The game engine was, they had those weird times the camera would kind of turn a little bit, and then when you'd run fast, and then then the camera would kind of come back behind you, when you'd slow down or whatever, and then you've got the big armor and everything, but I just never felt like I was this big, powerful like guy in a suit of armor that was like this badass that could take on 50 guys at once every single corner. And I never got that from Gears of War, and I did get that from Warhammer, and I just felt like Warhammer is this blind fun. Is Gears of War a better overall game and much more polished and has a lot of other amenities and features that Warhammer does? Absolutely. Okay, I completely agree. But Warhammer is one of those guilty pleasure games that just got it all right for me.
Right. No, I get you. I do have a question. It's really bugging me, and I hope they answer it. And maybe it's in the lore of Warhammer, and I don't know anything about it. But more than most of the characters have these two, like, dots above their eye. Have you noticed that? It looks like two boils or pus sacks.
And apparently, if you look at the lore of the Warhammer universe, there's apparently some kind of side effects or whatever from the armor and some of the other things that happen to them, in battles and all that. But yeah, it's a little weird that in this game they had those, kind of almost in the same spots to some degree. So I honestly don't know much more than that. If there's any, if you guys there in chat, or if you're Warhammer 40K tabletop gamers, or if any of you know the Warhammer lore and canon out there, share with us why the guys in the game may have some oddities growing off their face. So I totally get you. The chat seems to be talking about Fable a lot. I want to hear something. I want to hear what you thought about the Fable series, because I know I have a strong opinion about it. Well, the Fable series, there was I tried the first one. I never got it. I never really got into it. I never really gave it a shot, because everybody knows that listens to the cast. I'm not that big of an RPG guy. I need a little bit more action in my life. But I thought it was interesting, but I just didn't think it delivered on all the promises that were made. That was my biggest issue.
Yeah. So basically, what people are trying to do is Kingdoms of Amalur. They try and compare it to Fable, and
it's odd.
Very. Guys, Kingdom of Amalur is more of a World of Warcraft clone in a way. Here's the thing: Fable is a failure RPG, is what it is. Okay.
I actually kind of feel the same way.
Fable is a flop in many ways. One, it's not really an expansive RPG, and I hate to offend people who love this game. I know my best friend Jordan loves this game, and I just stomp all over him. It's like, but I mean, this game is more of an MMO clone than it is to a Fable even look-alike, just because it's a third-person RPG, and it's kind of got more of an animated look to it. Doesn't mean that it's anything like Fable at all. Fable is attracting. It basically tries to attract a hardcore RPG crowd,
right.
But it attracts instead people who are new to an RPG and need something that's really, really easy and short.
So it's for dumbasses.
Or people new to the RPG world. That's not where I was going with that, Anakin.
Yeah, way to alienate the audience there. Jeez.
No, but basically, Peter Molyneux, I'm pretty sure that's who the creator of Fable was. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right.
He promised, and I've told this story before in my stream, but he promised a game back in like 2003 or 4 or whenever, and he didn't deliver that game. He promised an amazing adventure. Now, he did not deliver the game he said that he was going to. Now, I personally enjoyed Fable. I had a good time with it. But guess what? It only took me like 10 hours to beat. It was like so short. And I was really pissed off. I was like, wow, really? I was like, okay, I'll go through doing everything evil this time, though. It didn't change anything. Now I just had horns, and I smelled like shit, and flies were around me. And I was like, this is bullshit. So then Peter Molyneux himself comes out and he's like, all right, ladies and gents, I'm going to stand before you today and I'm going to say Fable 1 was not what I promised. It was not what I said it was going to be. So I'm going to make Fable 2. Fable 2 is going to be everything that I said it was going to be and more. Now you can jump over fences. Now you can kick the chickens. You're not just a chicken chaser, you're a chicken kicker. And I'm like, okay, let's see you change the layout of the game. And he didn't. He didn't change anything. And I'm like, wow, okay, this is damn near the same game. There were no huge changes. All he did was he made it so that your friend could make the game go quicker. You could have a friend, be in there, but that wasn't even fun. You know why? Because you couldn't split up. You couldn't go different ways. You had to stay literally within 20 feet of each other. And I was like, this sucks. This is horrible. And I got really upset again. Then he comes back and he's like, okay, we understand that I failed twice. He literally is admitting his defeat twice now. And then he promises that 3 is going to be better. What do you know? You can't. There's not even a pause menu. You gotta. You pause the game and you load into another world where your pause menu is actually a place. And if you want to go find one item, you gotta run into a room and be like, okay, I put it in this drawer. There we go. It's or whatever. I never even played it. My friend played it. I watched him play it, and I was like, he didn't. There's nothing different here. I mean, there was the king thing where you could do that crap, but I heard that was fun. But it's just a tacked on thing. It's just added on. So
Yep.
when it comes to Fable and KOA, no, there's nothing similar. They're both RPGs. They're both third person. That's pretty much about it, guys. That's all I got to say. Now, if you want an RPG to play, I will tell you of the RPGs I've been playing. Anakin, I found a new genre that I enjoy.
Lay it on me.
It's tower defense, third person action games.
Gosh, I remember the other 26 games in that same genre, and I swear I've played some of those.
So the other day I found one called Orcs Must Die, and it was on sale for $3, and I was like, it's $3, marked down from 15. I'm like, I'm gonna try it.
What could go wrong?
It was amazing, Anakin. It was some of the most fun I've ever had. So basically, it's pretty simple. You start in a level, right? It's like a board, okay? You got a door, and you basically have an infinite amount of time before you decide, okay, I'm ready to fight the orcs, to set up traps. So you get these traps that do certain things. So maybe you'll get a vat of goop, and it's basically laid out in a grid format. So each trap takes up 1 block. So each trap costs a certain amount of money, which you gain. You start the match with 1,000, and it's a tower defense / dungeon defense tris. And Nada, by the way, thank you for coming. It basically basically you lay down these traps, and then you say, okay, I've laid down my defenses, let's go. Just like, say, a tower defense game like Plants vs. Zombies, right? Except, now imagine Plants vs. Zombies if you were a flower with a gun and a sword. And when you said, okay, zombies, bring it on, you got to actually be down there shooting them as well. And slashing them when they came through and fighting them. They will overwhelm you, but your traps are meant to kind of thin them out before they get to you so you can take them down. So with this guy, he's got a bow and arrow or a crossbow, and you can just sit back there, and if you're a good shot, if you're a good shooter, you can sit there and kill most of them before they even get close to your traps because you're headshotting them. And then, as you keep going through the levels, more doors, different layers, different monsters and stuff keep coming. Absolute fun. I highly recommend the game. It is hours of fun. And then last night I jumped onto Steam and I see a game that I've been looking at. I haven't really looked at it, but it was on sale for $7, and it was free for the whole weekend. This weekend, still free, by the way. and it's called Dungeon Defenders. And
Tell me all about it.
You sound like you want to hear about it, Anakin. So I will.
Tell me about it, Viridia. Tell me.
I will continue. In any case, the premise of this game is pretty much the same thing, except now you have classes that you can choose from in the beginning that have different traps, and you can also play multiplayer with up to 4 people. And
how people?
4 people, you asshole.
Oh my god. Sorry, I was going into infomercial mode there for a minute.
I know. I heard you, and I heard the condescending tone take over, and I heard it just start leaking out of your face. In any case, it is hella fun. It's on sale for like $7.95 this week, and this weekend it's completely free to play, and I highly recommend it. I give this game a 9 out of 10, straight up. It is amazing fun. Hours of fun. I actually played all the way up until like half an hour until the podcast started.
Well, I did see the trailer, and it really does look like a whole lot of fun. The thing, I love the art style. It's kind of got this 3D, almost like a cel-shaded kind of look, very similar to kind of a World of Warcraft look, really.
It's got, somebody said it looked, and I agree with them 100%. It looks just like Spyro the Dragon.
Yeah, exactly. It looks a lot like that. And then, one of the things that I saw that you explained to me already is I was really blown away by this was Valve's love for this game. Valve apparently worked with this indie developer to allow integration from Valve games, characters from other Valve games, and even apparently items from other Valve games, including the portal gun, which absolutely floored me because, Valve is usually extremely protective of all of their property, and for them to really allow some independent developer to get involved in that's a big deal. Obviously, they're showing them the love.
Exactly. I mean, it's absolutely insane how much you can just do in this game, and then you get like the trailer with them jumping in, and you get the classes from TF2 as fairies. And they will do, so the medic will heal you, the engineer will, when you get close to a damaged tower, it will fix it, and I mean, they do these special things, but you get them for buying it on Steam. Now, let me correct myself, it is available for Xbox and PSN, however, it's on sale on Steam this week, and also you get these special things, so if you can get it on Steam, do. Plus, the PC controls go very well with the game, it's just absolutely insane. Not only that, you can play it in a number of different ways, so like you can zoom all the way out and kind of play it, like a point-and-click type adventure, or you can zoom in to an over-the-shoulder third-person view, or you can zoom into a first-person view and play it however you feel like playing it. So I mean, there's so many different ways to do it. It gets absolutely, gets absolutely insane pretty quick. And somebody said up there, I think it was Sassanar, he said you could probably complete it by the end of the weekend, that's the only downside. That is not a downside. That is just the single player. The meat of this game is the multiplayer. It's getting in there with a bunch of friends and tackling these dungeons on multiple difficulties. So there's easy, normal, hard, and then there's like 3 other difficulties after that. And then there's one that's like insane mode. I don't know what the hell that one does, but I don't even want to know. Maybe but yeah, so I mean it gets harder. And basically as you up the difficulty, you're upping the HP, the damage that the enemies do, and the speed that they run. So they'll run like super fast and you don't have much time. Insane and Nightmare. Thank you, Ippy. So yeah, exactly. That is exactly that is just an amazing game. If you haven't played it, if you've been wondering about it, I was wondering about it too. I didn't touch it. Pick it up. It's definitely worth your time, and it will probably open your eyes to a whole new genre of game, which I hope really catches on because it's a lot of fun.
Well, it kind of looks like the whole dungeon defense thing is starting to come around because basically, kind of like you described this last game, Orcs Must Die is actually very similar to it as well. So Orcs Must Die was actually a huge hit. I know that it was covered pretty heavily on YouTube. I saw a lot of people playing it. And some of the really big names on YouTube I remember kind of covering it and promoting it when it first came out. So I do think that whoever came up with the original from what I remember, the old desktop defense games way back from like the early 2000s on the internet. I remember seeing some of those, and then of course that game model kind of migrated over to the mobile platform, and you can find any number of desktop defense defense tower defense kind of games. And they're all over all the cell phone, iPhone, Android marketplaces. And now, the next evolution for that game type is exactly what you're describing, is where you actually take a hardcore game style where you're running around as a character, but now you still have the same approach of like kind of a maze or whatever, and you got, hordes of enemies coming through all at once, and you set up your traps, and you get currency to be able to buy the traps based on how many you kill and all. It's a great model. I'm just glad to see that move along.
Yeah.
And by the way, speaking of mobile, Vriddy, I know you've got an iPhone, right?
Right.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I've got an Android on. I've got the new Galaxy Nexus. So we've both got the ability to do a little bit of mobile gaming along the way. But let me tell you, there's a game that's actually for iOS as well as Android that I really, really, really recommend if you guys like the tower defense style. And remember, this is a cell phone game, okay? It's not gonna change the rules or anything. But this is a game called Sentinel 3.
Mm-hmm.
Sentinel 3, okay? This is it's got high def graphics for if your phone can actually handle it. And it's got some new things about it. There's some slightly different things. They have instead of just your items like your towers, your different kind of towers that slow down certain groups, and then others shoot really fast, and other ones shoot slow but do a ton of damage. All the standard things. But this actually comes in with these global map. I don't know, bombardments, if you will. They come in and they do damage over a big area, and you save them up by just getting through various waves, so you don't have to buy them.
Right.
And then there was other things where you can actually buy a little droid or whatever that goes out and actually mines on the map. It just mines certain areas for extra currency and extra wave currency, where if you get through certain waves, you unlock these these bigger bombardment kind of things. And anyway, it's all about how you spend your money. And really I recommend it. The game, I think, generally is either $2 or $3, but I got it on one of Amazon's free app of the day for Android. And if you guys are not getting your free app of the day on the Android marketplace over to Amazon, I highly, highly recommend it. I actually do not know if they're doing iOS free apps of the day, but on Android, you definitely need to leave your Amazon marketplace on your phone if you're running Android and check out the free app of the day every day, because they usually have extremely high-end applications, mostly games, anywhere from $1 to, I've seen them as much as like $6 or $7, and it's just free that day. And so I've got a ton of them, and that's how I discovered Sentinel 3, which is probably one of the best tower defense games for all of the mobile platforms.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check it out for sure. How much is you said, like $3? That's not bad.
Yeah, I think it's like $3. But let me tell you, I mean, I've got tens of hours of gameplay in a mobile game. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. If I'm in a doctor's office or something, or if I'm waiting at a somewhere I just got to wait in line or something, I always break it out, and it's fantastic. And if I'm at a red light, I'll play a wave. No, I don't do that.
No, we do not promote gaming and driving, guys. No,
don't play and drive, kids.
No, that's these games are the reason I started thinking about the Vita. It came out, and
yeah, boy, it came and went.
That's the only reason I could think to get a Vita would be to play like these dungeon defense games. Like, I was sitting there going, you know what, this would actually be a fun game to play in a doctor's office. Play around, play a wave, turn it off. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
These are the kind of games, like, literally, the Vita should become like the dungeon defender platform, like these little strategy games where you could do a wave and then turn it off, I would not want to play Call of Duty on that thing.
Oh no.
It's just crazy. But in any case, I will definitely check it out. Dungeon Defense, I guess they have I guess they put my what was my original one? It was a third person tower defense strategy game or something. It's Dungeon Defense. My bad. I'm sorry about the misname. But in any case, that's what I've been playing. You have only played Modern Warfare 3?
Actually, I played a couple other things this week, but sadly, it'll be rehashes of many things that I enjoy.
Yeah.
I played Rock Band. By the way, there's a new song that I was extremely excited about that has been released on the Rock Band network, and I do want everybody, if there's anybody left out there playing Rock Band and downloading DLC for it, you must get this song. It is by a band. It's an extremely heavy metal band, heavy being the operative word there, called Solution 45, and it's called Lethean Tears. It's on the Rock Band network. You can get it on Xbox and PSN, and it's only $1. And I'll tell you, if you still enjoy playing Rock Band in any form or fashion, any of the instruments, it's highly recommended. And I actually was waiting for that for ages because I've complained about this before, but the Xbox, my Rock Band setup has always been on the PlayStation. And Xbox gets all the DLC a month ahead of time, and even then, they get all of the Rock Band Network DLC, which is actually user-generated. It is not created by Harmonix. It's actually user-generated, even though it goes through an extremely rigorous testing and judging process before it's ever available to the public. But the thing is not all of the Rock Band Network DLC gets over to the PSN because Sony, in their infinite wisdom as a company, this is one more strike against them, by the way, but the thing is they, for whatever reason, limit Harmonix as a company to 5 pieces of DLC per week.
Wow.
5.
That's pretty odd.
If you guys keep up with it at all, even to this day, okay, even as old a game as Rock Band is, the Xbox gets anywhere from 30 to 40 DLC songs a week, okay, a week. So if you can imagine only about 4 or 5 of those that get moved over to the PSN, you can imagine how much content I'm actually missing and how much money that PSN would have made off me after all this time. But yeah, Sony in their infinite wisdom has decided to limit the amount of content.
I wonder why.
Nobody seems to know. I've trolled the Rock Band forums. I've trolled Harmonix about it. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? And every single time they all point to Sony. They said, Xbox? Heck yeah. Xbox is over here. Microsoft's going, send me all the goddamn DLC you got. I'll sell it all, And I'm like, hell yeah, capitalism, brother. And Sony's over here like, I don't know. We don't need to give that, we don't need to give that many choices to our fans. I'm like, you idiots, So anyway, I do really recommend it. It's a great song. I actually played it about 4 or 5 times this weekend. And of course, to this day, there's still fantastic Rock Band DLC coming out. In fact, this coming week is Men at Work Down Under.
Men at Work.
Indeed. So anyway, good stuff all the time. But let me tell you about another game real quick that I played.
Yeah, go for it.
This game is an older game now, and if you look on Steam, you can probably find it there, and maybe somebody in the chat will actually look it up and see how much they want for it these days.
How old is it?
It's so old.
It's so old, Anakin played it as a child.
That's right. Back then we called it Jax. I just threw them on the ground. Anyway, no. Here's the deal. This is a game that if any of you guys are PC gamers out there, you really, really, really should try this. In fact, Viridia, maybe you should try this game.
Okay.
This is an RTS, all right? This is a fantastic RTS. It actually broke all other RTSs for me. It's called Supreme Commander,
yeah,
and in fact, the one I'm referring to is actually Supreme Commander 2, which if you bought any of the Supreme Commander series, you're going to love them all, okay? But Supreme Commander 2 is, I think, relatively inexpensive these days. It can't be more than $10. I've seen it as cheap as $3 or $4 on crazy Steam sales. Wow, $15 right now. Thanks for the tip there, Tristan. Oh, that sounds high. But you know what? I would pay $20 for it. It is that good.
Oh my God! Why have you not? Why have you not LP'd this game or shown the footage of it on your computer or on your channel yet?
Well, believe it or not, I actually, in my early days, when I first joined Next Gen Tactics, that was one of my games I covered. I put a couple of videos out. Sadly, the community is not that big for it, and the game really shines in multiplayer. The single player is kind of tacked on. The voice acting is a little rough around the edges. But really, this is a game that is, it's kind of almost hard to call it a real-time strategy because it's really more real-time tactics. You have a fantastic amount of leeway when it comes to like what you have to work with. You basically, you're just, it's a typical formula for an RTS, but here's the great thing. You can zoom all the way down almost to a single unit on the screen, or you can zoom all the way out and see the entire map. And it's called Strategic View, and it's actually completely unique to that game franchise. It was in Supreme Commander. It was in the standalone expansion called Forged Alliance, and then Supreme Commander 2 came out, and obviously that was one of their key components of the game. This game, for multiplayer, is unbelievable. I still play it regularly, and I played that this week. And I had actually a couple of fans from my channel pop up on Steam and was like, "Hey, Anakin, do you still play Supreme Commander?" And I'm like, "Do I?" So I jumped on. So anyway, I jumped in with some games.
Well,
and
gee
willikers,
guys, let's just do this. Let's do it and get it done.
Indeed. So I had an absolute blast. It was fantastic. If any of you guys are looking for just something on the side that's a really deep, strategic, tactical kind of game where you're working with land, sea, and air, and you don't have to learn like what each unit kind of does, because everything is pretty straightforward. I mean, you got ships, you got land units like tanks and stuff, and then you got air units like bombers and fighters. And I mean, you don't have to relearn something like StarCraft. You can't just say, okay, cool, I'm gonna go play StarCraft. No, you have to understand what each and every unit does to not only defend against it, but to learn how to play your own faction.
Right.
This is a lot more like taking the old Green Army men. It's like, okay, well, I know what all this stuff is, but it's in a futuristic setting. Okay, cool. Now I'm just gonna go set up my base and make money and research some things to unlock some more stuff and get after it. And man, it's a blast. It's up to, you can actually play 8 people multiplayer, and I really highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite games of all time, if that is any kind of recommendation. So that was another thing I played this week. So Rock Band, Supreme Commander, and Modern Warfare.
Well, I guess if you were
Duke Nukem.
And Duke Nukem, yeah.
Duke Nukem.
I guess if it came on sale, I'd have to try it out. I'm not a big fan of RTS games, but
yeah, I know it really is. It takes a lot of getting used to. I mean, as an RTS game, if you're not used to playing them, it's something that you really need to sit down and kind of play for a little bit before you get the hang of it. Because there is a kind of a time. You have to kind of get the timing down as money becomes available. You got to know what to build and all that.
Right. Yeah, I totally understand. It's one of those. It's just one of those games that you got to really you got to invest. You got to, in any RTS, you got to invest some time. But I'm okay with that. I do have to point out, people keep asking about this. When are we going to do this spoiler alert thing we talked about?
I actually am still on board for it. In fact, I've got several more movies I'd like to talk about, because as many of you guys have listened to us before, Verdi and I are both huge movie buffs. We watch a lot of the oddball stuff. And I'm on board for it as soon as you guys are ready to listen to it. If you're asking about it, then that means there must be some interest in it. So yeah, I'm actually. Right. In fact, we could probably do that. We might be able to do Down the Scope here on your channel, and maybe we can do spoiler alert over on my channel or something.
Yeah. Well, actually, what I was planning on doing, I actually didn't get around to it. My overall thought process was that we would create a Down the Scope channel.
Yeah,
in
which
we would do the Down the Scope podcast and possibly any other Control Shock podcast / whatever we do on there. So this is kind of just a temporary thing for my channel. That's just an idea I had. But yeah, we'll talk about it more behind the scenes, and then we'll probably do it on Anakin's channel. I wanted to do it really bad because I love talking about these movies, and what was, I can't even remember the name of the movie that we picked.
Oh, it was I Spit on Your Grave.
That was it. And you know what? I watched it. I remember like getting messed up about it, but now it's been so long that I don't even remember the movie.
I know. Seriously. I mean, I just remember being sick to my stomach after watching that movie. But I would actually, I don't know if I could sit through it again. But I probably remember enough of it to talk intelligently about it. So we may need to keep that as a possibility in the future. But I've got several movies. And by the way, since we're talking about this, way off topic, okay, way off topic, even though it is a movie, okay, this is a game movie, okay, and not, we're not talking about Gamer or your Super Mario Brothers or any of that crap that's been around. Here's the deal, okay, this weekend, if you guys live in a major city in the United States, if you live in a major city, okay, you need to go and look up your local theater listings. This started today. And if you have not heard of this, please let me be the first one to tell you about it. This is a movie called The FP. The FP, okay? This is a movie, imagine this, okay? And I cannot wait for this to show up on Netflix or something because it is not playing where I live, unfortunately. But here's the deal. Imagine a 1980s dystopian society, kind of almost Mad Max-ish, if you will,
right? That
instead of rival gangs fighting each other with like guns and knives, they fight each other in Dance Revolution tournaments.
No way. No.
But get this. They completely, utterly take it straight-faced serious the entire time.
You've got to be kidding.
This movie is phenomenal looking. This is amazing. You've got to watch the trailer if you've never seen the trailer, okay? This has got to be one of the best classic games ever, okay? And here's the thing. Imagine, if you will, in the trailer, imagine this, okay? These guys are dancing, and they're, like, calling each other names. They're like, yeah, screw you, faggot, and all this crap. They're all dressed in these, like, ridiculous 80s, like, outfits, and they have all these bandanas on, and they're like, yeah, what's up, bitch? And they're all doing this, and they're shit-talking. And then they go into this cage match. Like it's an ultimate fighting championship or something, and they get in there, okay? They get into this cage match, and there's these two Dance Revolution machines, but they call them Beat Revelation, okay? Because I guess they couldn't get the licensing or something. So it's Beat Revelation, and they're wearing these huge boots, and one of the guys has an eye patch, and there's all this crazy stuff going on in the trailer. And these guys, they start doing this dance-off, okay? And there's two rival gangs, and they're yelling at each other, and they're cheering them on, and they're like, yeah, screw you! Anyway, this guy dances the other guy to death.
Wait, what? What?
It's like, here's the thing. The guy gets his ass beat so bad at the game that he dies. That's how this happens, okay? So the other guy, this is kind of like this Karate Kid kind of thing, okay? Like his friend dies, and he's like, oh, I'm going to avenge him. And this whole time, he spends the entire time, like training like Rocky for the final epic Beat Revelation match. And he like goes in there, and he's got all these guys going, dance with your mind. And it's like all completely, utterly straight-faced, complete, they're playing it unbelievably straight. No winking at the audience, no comedy, no nothing. This is as if it was like unbelievably like just, this is a sci-fi action movie that you're supposed to just completely take completely serious.
Oh,
it's unbelievable.
God, dude, that sounds like...
It's amazing.
Like,
it is absolutely amazing.
I don't want to step out of my bounds here, but that sounds like something that Yuva Bowl couldn't even do.
Oh, no. This is not even near his level, okay? It's unfreaking believable. The whole thing is just, it just looks so unbelievably over the top, okay? And here, I don't know if I can post a link. Let me see. There you go, guys.
Yeah.
There's a link in the chat screen for you guys to check this out. And for those of you listening to us here on YouTube, I will put the link to this movie down in the description. Because if you have not heard of it, please take my advice and at least go watch the trailer. And when this thing comes out, you've got to see it. I cannot wait for it.
I am very, very excited to see this. I can't tell you. how long I've been waiting for this type of movie, because when I walked into the Silver Ball, which is my arcade,
Oh yeah.
and I get on that dance, and there's this little Asian girl, and she's probably like 8, and I get on there, and she picks like expert, and I pick beginner, and she beats me. I want her to die. So actually being able to dance her to death is an awesome prospect to me.
Man, I'm telling you, when you watch this trailer, you will not believe it. I seriously, I was like, there is no way that this exists. This has got to be some kind of like fan-made movie or whatever. But no, this is freaking real, and it is at the theater right now. Today is the opening day in the United States and among select theaters across the nation, and I am telling you,
I can't wait to see the epic Metascore for this thing. It's gonna be, I mean, honestly, this is probably gonna be the lowest score ever. Like, I mean, like in the history of scores, Metascores, it's gonna be the lowest score I've probably ever seen. But it's gonna be epic. And you know, the thing is that some Dance Dance Revolution aficionado came up with this idea. They're just like, no, I just get this feeling, man, when I get on these machines that I could just do something with it, man. I'm gonna make a movie, dude. It's like it was one of those things where it's just like two guys that are really into the game get together one night, and they're finally just like, you know what? I feel this is more than just a game to me, and it's like, dude, you should make a movie, man. This is an epic theory, and it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna make that, and he actually carries through with the damn thing.
Unbelievable.
It's absolutely insane. I cannot believe what I'm hearing, but
oh man, I am telling you, I am so all over it. If it was playing anywhere near me, it's actually playing in Houston, and that's not too far from me. I was thinking about going out there and checking it out this weekend, but I just don't think I'm going to be able to make it away. So I'm going to have to just wait for the DVD to make it out or whatever. But yeah, this is like a hardcore rated R, like harsh language, nudity, and all this like gang violence kind of stuff, but all done through Dance Dance Revolution.
Are you hoping for a scene where the guy is mounting the chick while dancing?
You know what? It may deliver. It may deliver that.
It's playing this like poppy techno Japanese music. And he's just sitting there just like dancing, and she's like up against the machine. He can't even see this is part of his training. He can't see the arrows falling, but he knows. He just knows what's going on. That got graphic, but I had to explain what my mind was seeing about that scene. In any case, we do need to. We will get the spoiler alert going for sure. It's just too much fun not to do, honestly.
Indeed, I've got several movies wanted to talk about. So yeah, it's going to be that when we get it going, I think it'll be a blast. We'll probably have as much fun there as here at Down the Scope.
For sure. With this first live episode, we wanted to really incorporate you guys into it. So, Anakin, I think that we need to ask them. We get emails from you guys asking us questions that sometimes we just don't have an answer for. Unfortunately, we're never on the spot to answer them. So I think now that we're on the spot, let's ask some questions. Let's have them ask their questions and we answer them. How about that?
Sounds great. Yeah, I mean, right now this is the time. If you guys have sent us something in the past, maybe we haven't been able to get to it, or maybe we just didn't have enough information at the time. This is a prime time. If you've got some questions for us, or if you've got a topic that you want to hear us, wax about for a while, then go ahead and throw it out there, and we can talk about it here. How's the kids? No, that's not a topic. That's not a topic.
You guys know. See, here's the difference in me and Anakin. I post my kid all over YouTube. Anakin has never posted a video of his kid. He's just like, no.
I completely made them up. They don't even exist.
Yep. Which I understand. Like me, dude. I'm gonna tell you a story right now. I posted a video of me making Sammy laugh like really hard. Like he'd never laughed that hard in his life. And he laughed so hard that he choked. He choked on his spit. He's like, he got choked up. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, And I put a disclaimer originally in there not to make some stupid, nasty comment on a video of my son. And within the first 3 minutes, there it was. It's just, man, YouTube is full of scum. I just want that guy out there to know you're a piece of crap. It's just like,
Yep, I believe it.
just you're an idiot. Okay, I just want you to know. Tristan ought to link the video I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. He's adorable. I love my son.
Well, by the way, I was gonna, even though I have not posted anything about my kids, except literally the day they were born, I have that one video that I posted that.
Yeah.
But the thing is I actually have big plans for my twins, because they do everything together, and they're already walking and getting around, and they're starting to make little sentences. It's not in English. I'm not sure what language it is, but they do communicate with each other. And I'm actually I'm wanting to get them involved in something like Connect, or a Rock Band, or something that kind of has them really active. And let me tell you, I may even create them a YouTube channel, because with all of my special effect background, I was actually thinking about having them, do a Rock Band on a green screen or whatever, and then having them, make their own little channel, and the Anna Twins or something. So
yeah, no kidding. No, that would be epic. And I believe they just celebrated their 1 year birthdays, right?
That's right. Yep.
And so
it's
I mean, how crazy is it? I mean, to go back into the past for a minute, which it really isn't that long ago. I remember the first. I hadn't even talked to you before. A year, like a little over a year ago. First time I ever actually heard you live was when you were in that zombie game with Rad Austin and a few other people. I can't remember who it was.
Yep.
And you're like, and I'm sitting there listening to you. I had the speakers on, and so Brittany could hear. And she's like, "Who is that?" I was like, "It's Rad Austin 27, some Anakin guy." And she's and I was like, "Yeah, he's the one with the twins," because I had mentioned you before.
Right.
And then you're like, "Yeah, I got to get back to the hospital." And I'm like,
That's right.
And Brittany comes in and she's like, "Wait, he left the hospital to go play zombies?" She's like, "I'll kill you." And I was like, "That's epic. That is awesome."
There's a funny story behind that, by the way, and I don't want to get too off topic, but I do have to actually say why that happened. First of all, we had a ton of family at the hospital. The kids were born, obviously, everything was great. We were living it up. Okay, so my wife was still, she was kind of coming out from the anesthetic, and she was kind of, with it, but not quite, and I was there, and of course I had sleep deprivation because all this happened in the middle of the night. We weren't prepared for it. And, everything went great. Okay. So it had almost been, by the time I came home, and it had actually almost been a full day, because the birth happened the night before. And here's the thing. We weren't scheduled to have our due date until it was all like a week and a half later. So Rad Austin at the time, he tells me, "Dude, man, I've got this great opportunity. I want you to take part in this zombie, this zombie match. It's going to be you, me, Guns for Hire, and Spider Bite. And we're all going to be in here, as 4 players." And I'm like, "Holy crap, dude!" Of course, I'm new to YouTube at the time, and I'm thinking, "Wow, this is a huge opportunity for me." And, because, everybody at that time with Next Gen Tactics, they all knew Guns for Hire. They knew Spider Bite. It was a big deal. Rad Austin was kind of up and coming, and he was known for the zombies thing. So I'm thinking, holy crap, this is going to get me a ton of exposure. This is going to be huge. I'm really going to take off from this. So I tell my wife this, and, a week in advance, long before we're even there, and she's like, "Oh my God, yeah, you can't miss that. You've put so much work into YouTube. You've got to do that no matter what." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm doing it." So, little did I know that freaking night before I'm supposed to meet up with Rad Austin that next evening, that's when the kids decide, "Hey, we're coming." So I'm at the hospital all day. I'd had no sleep, but, tons of family had arrived, and everybody's there and all that. And so here's the thing, okay, and this is what was funny. My wife looks at her watch at the hospital. She pulls out her watch, and she goes, "You've got that thing tonight. You need to go do that zombie thing." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, "I'm not leaving." And she goes, No, you need to go. You need to go do that. That's huge. You won't get another opportunity like this. This is huge." I'm like, That's crazy. I'm not leaving the hospital on the day the kids were born to go home and play a game. And she's like, no, you need to do that. Take a break. You need to go to the house. And you need to go get some stuff for the room anyway. We're going to be here a couple of days. Go to the house, get a bunch of stuff. And while you're there, play that single match and then come back. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, you know what? I'll do it. And she's like, do it. And I'm like, all right, I'm gone. And by then, there was a ton of people everywhere. Everybody was all around. So believe it or not, the entire time I was gone, hardly anybody, because there were so many people there, hardly anybody even knew I was gone. Everybody just assumed I was like down the hall getting a nurse, or that I had just walked out of the room or whatever, because there were so many people. And so I come back, and I get home, and I'm like, okay, man, and I'm on, and Rad Austin's like, all right, cool, come on in. And then I'm like, wait, who are these other guys? And he's like, oh, this is my friend so and so, and this is this other guy that I know. I'm like, dude, where's the two big guys who like run the freaking network that we're part of? And he's like, oh yeah, they couldn't make it. I'm like, dude, what the hell? My kids are like, like half a mile down the road. They're like, they were bored today. And he didn't even know that. And I'm like saying that in the middle of the match because I didn't want to bail after I'd finally made it home to do all that. So I just went in and played. So yeah,
my God, yeah,
absolutely ridiculous.
That's the first time I ever heard you, and I was like, really?
Exactly. I know. That's crazy.
I wanted to get in there so bad because, like, I remember I was sitting there. I didn't have anything to do that night, and I had talked to Reed a few times in his stream, and then he's doing this zombie match with you guys. I was like, why didn't you invite me, you jerk? He's like, oh, I set this up a long time ago, man. I'm sorry. I was like, no big deal, bro. No big deal. He's like, dude, I want you to be in there. I was like, nah, dude, I'm watching. No problem. I'm gonna sit back and watch. And then, Anakin's in it, and it seemed so boring, honestly. There was nobody talking or anything, and then you're just like, all right.
And I think that was was it the first time I ever played? I think it was maybe the first time I ever played zombies as a group.
Right.
I think it was like early on. I really hadn't played around with it that much. That was Black Ops, and that was really the first time that the zombie thing was really starting to catch on. And it was just this thing, and he was like, I didn't care what game it was. I would have played, I would have played Solitaire and Networked, if I was getting in and trying to get some exposure for my channel and everything. And that was really the big deal. And my wife knew I'd put so much work into me getting this whole YouTube thing. I mean, remember this was early January. Whenever Rad wanted me to play this, I'd only started my channel, really started getting it going in November. And I had put out, by that time, I'd put out like either 60 or 70 videos by the time Rad invited me. And I still only had like, 1,500 subs, 2,000 subs, something like that.
Right.
And I'm like, man, I'm just not getting, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not really getting the exposure I need. So I just said, no matter what, I really need to do this. And my wife said the same thing. She's like, you need to do this. So, yeah, what an awesome wife, right?
No kidding. No, I totally agree. It's just like, it's either that or she really wanted you the hell gone.
Exactly. I'm going to go with the awesome wife part. I'm not going to go with the she wanted me gone
She's
part.
like, I'm going to sneak the real dad in while he's gone. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding, Anakin. I'm just joking.
Yeah. Listen, while you're there, can you tell the milkman to come up here?
Oh, sorry. That's my humor. I thought that was hilarious. But anyway. So guys, you got any more questions? That was pretty much the only question I saw.
Well, actually, there was a really good question. One that I really did want to touch on. Hang on, let me see where it was. Somebody said, do you think... Okay, this is Mutu for Life. Do you think there is a danger of fighting games becoming oversaturated in the near future? I thought that was a valid question.
That is a valid question. Let me ask you, Anakin, since you wanted to bring this up. Why is that? What makes you think that would happen?
Well, there is a kind of a resurgence here recently of fighting games. I mean, we've seen, the Capcom series. We've seen some of the Street Fighter franchise reawaken here recently. Tekken 6 was a kind of a pretty big release, though it really didn't catch on. We had obviously the big resurgence of Mortal Kombat. That was a fairly big hit. And then Soul Calibur 5 just came out last month, and I've been playing the heck out of that. I still love it. And there's all these these cross franchises getting together now. So there's a lot happening. There's a lot going on with the fighting genre, and it is coming back. But my problem is not that it's going to be oversaturated. I just think that they're coming back so strong that it may re-burn itself out again. Because there's so many fighting games that just like they suddenly all hit the market in 3 or 4 months, and then all of a sudden none of them sell real well, and then nobody wants to make anymore.
Right.
So they just it just kind of fizzles out, and it'll be another 5 years before we see another resurgence of fighting games again.
Yeah. No, I totally see what you're saying, but think about how many first-person shooters there are, and how many online multiplayer shooters there are. I mean, the amount of the game is the same. The thing is with fighting games, the majority of fighting games coming out are replacing a game, if you know what I mean. So you got Street Fighter 4, but then Street Fighter 4 Super Ultra Mega Alpha comes out, and that replaces all the Street Fighter 4s before it. So it's not oversaturation when basically you've got one game that's it's in a tier. You don't still with Call of Duty. Modern Warfare is not replaced by Modern Warfare 2. They play differently. They got different maps and all that stuff. So, I can still go back and play the 4 and then go back and play Modern Warfare 2 and then Modern Warfare 3 and have a different experience.
Right.
So I personally don't see it as being a big oversaturation. I think it's definitely becoming bigger in the online scene that I'm seeing, with Evo becoming big.
Yeah.
If you saw Medina's stream not too long ago.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
Huge, man. Big time. So I think if you're looking to be a professional gamer, that's probably the route to go, is fighting games, because it's probably going to explode.
Yeah, it's true. But see, that's exactly my point, though, is that, a year ago, nobody was playing a fighting game. If you loaded up a fighting game, other than something like Super Smash Brothers or something, nobody was hardly playing a fighting game. And, there were still plenty out there.
Right.
But all of a sudden, and I really give credit to Mortal Kombat, all of a sudden, all of these fighting games came out, and kind of revitalized that genre. All the big boys, the Tekken, the Soul Calibur, the Mortal Kombat, the Street Fighters, all of these came out, and really, the Mortal Kombat, honestly, I think kind of really revitalized it. But Street Fighter 4 was a really big one here about a year ago, something like that. Probably going on 2 years ago now.
Oh, it was a while. It was a while ago. I think it was more like 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe. Yeah, it may be. So, that one really was, I think, one of the first ones in recent memory to kind of come back out and make a dent in that genre again. And then Mortal Kombat really helped to keep the momentum flowing. And then, of course, we've had a string of games since then.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, I just worry that, a year from now, after all these fighting games have come out, none of them were massive sellers. None of them were huge hits.
Right.
Tekken 6 was actually kind of a dud, and Soul Calibur 5 has been somewhat of a dud in sales. Mortal Kombat, I think, was probably one of the biggest ones recently for actual sales. But again, you look online, look at your friends list, on either PSN or Xbox, and I just don't see anybody playing it. So I don't know a year from now if we're going to be seeing that renaissance of fighting games continue like we've seen it in the last 12 months or so.
Yeah, I totally agree. I do look at. I respect the fighting game scene because it takes massive amounts of skill. It takes a lot of memorization. It takes a lot of strategy. It takes very quick maneuverability, and I really respect it. And I do hope to see it go somewhere. Plus,
yeah, I do too.
I personally enjoy. That's a game that I personally enjoy watching multiplayer matches of. Because I can learn, and it's not like I have to study for it. I can learn a little bit here and there. I can learn the lingo pretty quick, and I can keep going with my day. Whereas something like StarCraft 2, which somebody brought up earlier, sorry I don't remember exactly who it was, brought up, do we play StarCraft 2? And I personally do not play StarCraft 2, and I don't enjoy watching StarCraft 2 because it's just like League of Legends and Dota. These games, you really, really have to learn what the heck you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn the game. Gone Bad, thank you. That was you that brought that up. You really have to just delve into these games, and I'm not the type of person that spends all of his time on one game.
Yeah.
That's just not me. And you really have to be that way. Not only that, it's an RTS, and I don't get into those. It's just not my type of game.
Well, for me, it's Blizzard.
Right.
Done. I'm out.
There you go.
You know, it is funny. You know, I have a lot of respect for Blizzard, but believe it or not, I find a major game flaw. There's just a game design flaw in almost every Blizzard game I've ever played. And obviously, I'm in the minority on that, ridiculously in the minority, because Blizzard is one of the most successful gaming companies of all time. But the thing is the original Warcraft, and I don't mean World of, I mean the original Warcraft back in 1995. Actually, I think it may have even been 94. I played Warcraft, and you could basically come to a halt. You could just end the game where you're staring at each other and there's nothing left but a bunch of peasants, trying to talk to each other. The game can literally just end with no winner, and for an RTS game that's ridiculous.
Right.
And they actually continued that problem because on every map there is a limited amount of gold, and you have to mine the gold, and when you're out and you've lost all your units, for whatever reason, and the other side's lost their units, there's nothing left to do. You just stare at each other, and it's just silly. And they did that on Warcraft 2. They did it on Warcraft 3. StarCraft wasn't as bad about it, but there was still some, what I would consider to be some pretty major game flaws in the design of StarCraft, because it was basically the old rock, paper, scissors method. And it was a click fest, I didn't really, I didn't care for it, and I was a huge fan of RTSs back in the 90s when they were really at the top of their game. Anyway, but RTSs were really, really fun. There was a lot of great ones, and Earth 2150 was a fun one. Dark Reign was great. Total Annihilation was actually the predecessor to Supreme Commander. There was just, obviously the Command and Conquer series, and the Generals, Red Alert, all of those fantastic games. I had a blast playing all of them. But there was something about Blizzard games that just never set right with me, and that's why I never caught on to the StarCraft craze. And StarCraft was one of those games that you just like you were saying, Viridia, you had to just play it just day in and day out to even remotely be able to compete online. And then, of course, when it caught on in the Korean market, the Koreans adopted it as their official game of the country or something. It's like part of your nationality. If you're Korean, you have to play StarCraft. And it's absolutely ridiculous, and they play it like it's an Olympic sport over there. And I just never could get into it, So I stuck with RTSs, just not Blizzard RTSs. So that's my deal.
I'm going to answer Wham's question because it just cracked me up. I saw that.
What the heck? Wham? What kind of question is that?
Dude, I'm just gonna answer. I do. I use a different shampoo on my beard than on my head.
Oh my God. He uses chin and shoulders. Oh God. Holy crap.
Oh my God. There you go, guys. There's the pun.
Indeed. Holy crap.
And you thought it wouldn't happen.
It took us a while to get there, but I got to deliver at some point.
Oh my God. Yeah, I do actually. I don't I do use a different shampoo, but I do use shampoo. Once the beard gets thick enough, if you don't maintain, it starts to get itchy. You got to maintain the beard. So just for future reference, if you're thinking about growing the beard or growing the goat, you gotta maintain, or else you're gonna hate it.
I know. Sometimes when you let that thing get out of control, and I see you on your IRL videos, the Family Guy episode where Peter grows a beard always comes to mind, where he hides the family of birds in his beard.
You can get anything in, and that's another thing. You'd be eating Cheerios. You're gonna have a waterfall of milk just streaming down your beard, and it's horrible. You got to learn a different way to eat, and if you grow a mustache, God help you. It's insane. You always see those cops that have the really high trim mustache. It's so that they can eat Cheerios.
It's like Rudy parts his beard and like half a hot dog falls out. He's like, oh my god, that's from last week.
It's like a pantry. It's
like, wow, I don't have to go get lunch today.
I'm not lying though. It's so annoying. Like we'll be out, Brittany and I'll be out eating. She's like, "There's something in your beard." I'm like, "I know." I know this. You don't have to say it. Now it's just a look. She looks up, makes the immediate. It's like almost like too fast to even see, but it's like a quick glance down and then back up at my eyes. I'm like, I know, Brittany. So I know there's something in the beard.
Nice. Nice. Good lord.
But yeah, that's pretty much the deal with the beard. But
well, here's another question here that's not about beard. This is from Thomas. Thomas Katie's. He says, Anakin, how's it going with you in SWTOR? And I have to say, I went back to it. I've actually played it some more. For those of you who are not into acronyms, that is Star Wars: The Old Republic. And it's my first MMO. Everybody I know who has watched me play it or whatever, of course, has just blatantly made fun of me to the point of where I'm near crying. But it's it's actually it's still a fun game. I do have all the same problems I described in the last cast, and it's not. It's not bad. I really do find myself enjoying it when I make the time to play it. But I feel like playing an MMO is kind of like going to the gym. It's like when you finally get up when you finally get ready to go and you're like, oh god, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. Okay, and then you go to the gym and you're there. It's like, oh man, this feels great. I'm feel good. I don't know why I don't come to the gym more often.
Exactly.
That's exactly the way I feel with an MMO now that I've gotten Star Wars. And I, of course I say an MMO, but and this is the only MMO I've played. But that's exactly what I feel with Star Wars. It's like when I finally load it up and I sit down to play it, I actually am having fun. But when I think about it before I actually load the game, I always just go, God, it's an MMO. I just feel like 90% of the game I'm like running through like landscapes, and there's not anything going on.
Exactly.
So
I do completely agree with you. That I do have to give you props for that analogy. That was a pretty good analogy about the gym there.
Yeah.
I just got a gym membership, and I got a deal, and so like I'm gonna be going through that myself because I'm like sitting here like going, wait a minute, how am I gonna sleep till noon and make this work?
Exactly. That's the way I feel. I come home from work and I'm like, oh God, I don't want to. I'm just going to play a game where I can veg tonight. And I look at my desktop. I'm just sitting there staring at it, and I got several games installed, and I look at that SWTOR icon, and I'm like, man, maybe I should. I don't know. And then I load up Modern Warfare and go into free for all for like 2 hours and then go to bed.
There you go, exactly. But then when you finally do, you enjoy it.
I really do. I mean, and even then, Star Wars. Damn, you know what? You missed this, Rudy. Last weekend was a completely free-to-play weekend for Star Wars: The Old Republic.
I actually saw that. I did. Last weekend though was hectic for me. I wasn't even here, so it was kind of a I saw it and I was like, it's a good idea because a good friend of mine is actually getting into the game, and he's now trying to talk me into it. But I was like, we'll see, and then I just didn't get around to it. But Anakin, before we get out of here, I did have one thing. I asked you if you do it. I don't know if you did or not. Did you download the game I asked you to download?
I did not. Mm-hmm. But I did watch some more footage on it because I was trying to get home to download it. And let me tell you why I didn't download it. This is actually funny because this is another Sony bash. I went to go get it on PSN, and my stupid console needed a freaking system update. Yeah. And it was one of those things where I was in the middle of like feeding the kids, and there was a bunch of things going on, and I said, "Man, let me go try that game real quick because I know that Rudy wanted to talk about it on the cast. Let me go try that game real quick." And I loaded up, and I was going straight to the freaking store, and I was going to download it while the kids were eating, and then I was going to play it later that night. And then you know what? That stupid update came on, and I was like, "Screw you, Sony!" And I turned it off, and I went back to feed the kids, and I honestly did not go back. Literally, that is no lie why I did not go get it.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, no, I wanted to.
But tell everybody about it, because I do know enough about it to at least a little bit know about what you're talking about.
Right.
Having not played it though, so tell everybody the game you're talking about.
I am talking about the game. I actually put a playthrough, a full walkthrough of this game on my channel, so you know what I'm talking about now. I'm talking about Journey. And this game came out, I believe, Tuesday or Wednesday, and
if you don't think if you think it's good, don't stop believing.
God, none of them are gonna get that. None of them are gonna get that.
Is anyone gonna get it? Anyone? Am I hearing crickets again?
Yeah, you are. There's nobody's gonna. The first person to get that gets a cookie.
I am sending you a virtual cookie. Do not worry. Cookies. Oh, the band! All
right. No,
there's
like 15 people that got it. I don't have the cookies.
Fantastic.
Sorry. I thought it was a lie. Ham Banana, he stole the cookies. But no.
Cookie.
But no.
Rape.
Cookie and rape. I don't know if that's appropriate or not for this.
Yeah, this is not appropriate.
but you know what? I'm going to link that episode on YouTube or something. In any case, Journey is a downloadable game for the PlayStation Network. It is a PlayStation exclusive game. It's $15. It's only an hour and a half long. And it is totally worth every penny. It is like absolutely the most gorgeous game ever made to date.
It really does look amazing. I mean, if you guys if you don't even have a clue about this game, when Verity told me about it originally, I was like, oh, come on. There's some great looking games out there. And I went and looked at this, and there was a 20-minute playthrough that I saw somebody upload on YouTube, and I sat down and I looked through that. And my God, the artwork in this game is just unbelievable. It looks absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about it is that there is absolutely the only dialogue or the only dialogue or written anything in the game is at the very beginning. It says Start Journey. That's it. There's no dialogue. There's no written dialogue. There's no communication whatsoever. But there's multiplayer. So you basically this game is open for interpretation, and I have an interpretation about this game, and it is absolutely awesome. And you basically start out, the basis of the story, you're this creature on this planet basically made of sand, and in the distance is a mountain, and you are going toward that mountain. You have no idea why. You never really figure out why until the end of the game, and then you're still left to wonder. It's all about making your own interpretation of what is happening. And it is so amazingly beautiful that you will play and beat the game in one sitting. Now, I mean, if you go for all the little collectible things, you can probably draw the game out another hour. But as you're playing, all of a sudden, and the thing is when I started playing this, I hadn't really watched anything about it. I had no idea what was going on. And all of a sudden, I just see, because the areas in this game are vast, very vast, and I see something in the background just kind of like floating toward me, and you basically only have two buttons in the game. X is to fly. If you have, you basically have a scarf. You can use your power to fly. Circle is to basically call out. So you like create this aura around you, and it sends out a light, and it makes it a little sounds like a musical note. It's like whoa. It sounds like a echoing chime or something. And also I see something flying toward me, and it's making that chime, and it's a character that looks just like me. And we kind of like just hover around and have, just hover around the sand together and finish the level together.
And then you each go your separate ways.
Oh my God! Oh, it's the joke.
Anyone? Oh God! All right, keep going.
Oh my God! And then like, God dang it! You ruined it. You ruined the moment, you son of a bitch. In any case, basically at any time during the game, you will be paired up with a random person who's playing the game. It just automatically pairs you with somebody. It doesn't tell you who it is. There's no open chat. There's no communication. You can't talk to them. And then once you finish the game, it actually shows you the people you had played with throughout the whole game. Like, so I mean, it just starts listing their names, like, these are the people you played with your adventure. And it is so surreal that the words can't describe it. It's honestly one of these things that you have to sit down and play, and then at the end go, wow, that is awesome. If you can't play it for yourself, like I said, I have the whole HD walkthrough on my channel. Go check it out. Definitely a game worth mentioning. Definitely a game worth $15. It's only an hour and a half long, but don't let that stop you. Please don't let that stop you. Because you'll want to go through it again. You'll want to show your friends. You'll want to show even your mom how beautiful it is. There's one scene in particular where the sun is setting and you actually are skiing down this humongous hill through the sand. And at one point, you know, you go from a back to front view and you ski around this corner and the sun is shining onto the sand, and it is the most beautiful moment in gaming, I swear. It is the most beautiful moment in game. I was like blown away at the level of beauty in this one scene. So definitely a game worth checking out. Definitely a game that I want to hear your interpretation of. So if you have an interpretation, we might have to bring that up next week. Have like kind of a spoiler alert thing where I give an interpretation of how the game goes.
Indeed, it actually sounds like you could play it any way you want it. Alright, that's enough dirty songs. Holy crap.
You had like a title pun, you had a middle pun, and then you ended with a pun.
That's right. That's the pun package.
It's the pun pack.
That's right.
Okay, so guys, that's your dose of punnage, and
indeed,
you got to understand, he does that in the middle of my like I get really into my discussions, as you can tell. I get really into what I'm saying, and he does it right in the middle of it. And it's just like it's like somebody's jogging at a nice pace, and he walks up with a stick and just whacks you right in the shin.
It's my own little way of trolling. You know, it's like my own little troll that I do.
Yeah, it's like a bee in your ear.
Unbelievable.
But in any case, guys, I'm
tired.
tired.
Hang on. I have one more thing. This is a little crazy. This is another game. This is a game that I want everybody to play, including you, and I want everybody to add me. Okay?
What?
Okay, this is a stupid game. Before we leave, okay, this is a stupid game. I know this is caught on, and probably half the people here may already know about it. We're going back to the mobile platform here again, you know, and I love my Galaxy Nexus. Okay, this is I do so many things on this phone. This is why I really don't need a Vita.
Are you talking about that stupid drawing game?
Yes.
God dang it! Everybody in the world is playing Draw Something. I swear to God.
Yes.
Everywhere I go.
I'm telling you, this game cracks me up because I'm just dying every time I get a word that's like ridiculous. I sit here. Here's what I'm trolling people in this game. Okay, this is my new thing. For like one of the things today I did was like a chocolate. You know, something that was like chocolate bar, and I'm like, okay. I sit down and I start drawing and I sketch out this like elaborate scene of like, you know, the Titanic going down like on a, you know, with an iceberg smashing into it, and all this elaborate, like, you know, I do all this kind of fancy, you know, outlining, and I already have a bunch of colors unlocked, and then like up in the corner I'll draw like a little chocolate bar and I'll put an arrow pointing to it, and I'll do that last. So everybody's like looking and they're just watching this, and I'll spend like 10 minutes drawing something, and it's all elaborate and everything, and then I just go like right up in the little corner and I'll draw like whatever the clue is.
What a jerk.
Oh my God, it's fantastic. I've been cracking myself up because I'll just do something completely unrelated. Spend like 10 minutes, and everybody just has to sit there and like watch, you know, and you just sit there and you're like, oh, you're like, come on, you know. It's like it goes on. So anyway, I'm telling you, my name is Anakin, of course, on that game. Anakin with 4 N's. You can find me by the username. So feel free to start a game with me, and I will troll you with my fantastic drawings and then my simple little clues over in the corners.
That's absolutely hilarious. Yeah, everybody I know in the world is playing it, just like they did Words with Friends, and
Absolutely.
and I haven't done that yet, so I might add you on there and maybe give it a shot.
And I've been dying laughing. There's a group of guys I go to lunch with. I've mentioned them several times before, and there's all these guys now. It's too funny. Okay, there's like 4 or 5 guys, all of us sitting at the table. We're all like engineers and programmers and all that. And the funniest part of it is this week, all of us have been sitting at the table with our damn smartphones, challenging each other and draw something, and we're like covering our phones while we're drawing so that each other can't see them, and then we watch each other try to guess. So that's how I started trolling everybody with these ridiculous drawings, and then like putting a little thing up in the corner. I've been dying laughing. So
that's hilarious. That's. In any case, guys, get on the ball, download Draw Something, and play Anakin. He's dying to troll you. I actually do want you guys to do that. That way next week you can come back and taunt him.
Indeed.
When you guys, because you know they're more clever than you. You know.
I know, I'm over here going, yeah! And then, all of a sudden somebody's going to be like, screw you, Anakin. I'm sure I'm going to get all kind of, like, fancy notes. They're going to be like, screw you, Anakin, you suck.
It's like, oh, yeah, well, here's a poop log, but the word's actually, like, ice cream cone.
Exactly.
And they're just going to keep drawing troll faces and stuff and never draw the real thing.
Well, I have another friend of mine that also, he will take any and every word that comes up, and he will turn it into a sexual reference. And he will draw the sexual reference and then try to get me to guess it.
That's hilarious.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, my God. Well, in any case, guys and girls, this has been a very successful endeavor. I have had a lot more fun, honestly, communicating with you guys and seeing what you guys have to say live, as I'm sure Anakin has as well.
Indeed.
Guys, this is we want to thank you very much for coming out here. We want to thank you, the guys that from the UK that stayed up. We want to thank any hard-scoping banana heads out there very much.
Rape.
It's going to be it. It's going to be Ham Banana, and he's going to be sitting there. As a matter of fact, while you carry us out, I'm going to pull up Hand Banana.
Fantastic.
And I'm gonna let you take us out the door here. So go ahead, Anakin. You take us out the door.
Awesome. Well, guys, as he said, it has been absolutely fantastic. We had a great time tonight. This is something that we've been wanting to try. Like Viridia said, we've been wanting to see if we can really get this to work appropriately. And tonight, I think, has been a massive success. We got the intro working. We got, we jumped right in. You guys were already waiting here to join us. I think it's been a fantastic experience, and I've actually had a lot more fun tonight than normally. And I really look forward to trying to get this back in action every week. And we'll still post on YouTube. You guys can look for it over here on my channel, of course, and over on Viridia's channel as always. And, of course, you can actually come and watch it here as well under the video section of Viridia's live stream. And if this, maintains some level of success, hopefully you'll see a new Down the Scope channel here at Twitch TV, where you'll see us weekly and maybe even do some special episodes, maybe even in the middle of the week or something, depending on what's going on, or if there's like a fancy new game that comes out or whatever. And then be on the lookout for Spoiler Alert. Let's see if we can make Spoiler Alert happen, and we'll see what kind of movies we can talk about with you guys.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what kind of awesome things that Anakin can find for me to watch.
The FP is definitely on the list.
Yeah, very much so. I can't wait for that. I'll tell you what. But yeah, like you said, we've had a lot of fun. If you're watching this on YouTube, I hope that you see the chat over on the side. I really hope that you come out and support us. Join in live, ask your questions, get some stuff in there. It's been a blast getting to read what you guys have to say. And getting to implement that into the show. It's added a lot to it, I think. God, we came up with a lot more to say just off of your questions. We want you guys to be a part of it, and I do hope you enjoyed it. If you guys haven't, until we get the DTS channel up, hit the follow button I've seen a couple of you guys wondering how do I get this notified every week. If you hit the follow button, you will be following my channel, and you'll see anytime we go live. You can come in, you can chat with me. Also follow Anakin's channel, which he'll link in the chat. Go follow his channel. When he streams, then you'll be able to see him streaming, because I know a lot of you guys are new to Twitch. And this is a good way to get a notification. Also, if you have an iPhone or an iOS device or an Android device, go ahead and download the Twitch app and then log in. Once you have that, when we go live, it will actually notify you, and you can come and check us out. And it's an easier way to know when we're online rather than just checking your email every 2 minutes. Or you can be like a few of my followers, like Trisanata, and just stay in the chat 24/7 waiting. In any case, guys,
Indeed.
this has been a very successful episode of Down the Scope. This is Ham Banana from the amazing show Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I hope you enjoy our new mascot. Guys, thank you again so much. You are great. I am out.
Thanks so much, guys. See you guys next time. See you later.
Later.